Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Statistics Day. We're going to run through some statistics. We will need the game for this. We will need my post that I made, which was quite popular. So I made a post on Twitter. I basically went through and analysed how many times each player did something. There were more options than this, but I figured that was a good base. We'll run through what those options were. We'll need the stream, obviously, to review the matches. And then, at the time of making this, I actually probably should have made this before this match. It would have been interesting. But I've not watched this match yet, but perhaps at the end of the video, if you want to hang around, we can review this one live. I've already had a quick look at a couple of rounds, and it seems like Angry Bird is playing differently than he did in the EVO finals against Kakeru. So we'll go through that. So if we click on the picture here, you might be able to see I basically logged Angry Bird, Takedo, Punk and Mena in sheets. I also did a couple of individual matches. Raw Drive Rush, how many times did they actually activate it? Button into Drive Rush is the other one. I wanted to see the difference between the Raw and the Button Drive Rush across the different players. Drive Impact, this is just the grand final, by the way. I have Angry Bird matches individually also. No drive impacts in the grand finals. How many times did the drive reversal? It was once and failed. How many times did he EX move? This part here I'll just explain in the training room. I think this is the most interesting part for me anyway, apart from the usage. And I thought I'd just note the fireballs, because it looked to me like Angry Bird didn't rate fireballs at all, which he didn't really. There's probably a few reasons for that, but very different style to Takedo. So let's get into it. I've turned the volume down on the music. One thing we have to know about statistics.
Training room.
Is that you're going to look to this video and say, okay, Total Sagat with his kids' felt pens and a piece of paper has worked out how to play Street Fighter 5. No, I haven't done that at all. All I've done is log some stats, and it's really easy to misinterpret stats. So when we come to Punk with Kami, where is Kami? Over here, you'll see that Punk favors Button into Drive Rush more than he does Raw Drive Rush. Now that's not to say that one is correct and one is not correct, because we're talking about the best players in the world. We are talking about 6 people that made it through a field of thousands. So for me or anyone to analyze stats and say this is what you should be doing and this is what you shouldn't do, I don't think is fair at all. You can misinterpret the stats, because if I was to show you Mena's stats, I'll maybe flick up his post here in an edit. So as you can see here, this is Mena's statistics against Hitani, Takedo and Punk. He has less stats against Hitani because this was a quicker match. Didn't go the full length. He really beat up Hitani. But what I was going to say is Angry Bird favours obviously Raw Drive Rush the most, followed by Button Drive Rush. But because of Mena's character choice and possibly also his playstyle, he is burning. He is burning through the EX moves a lot more. This is both Blanca, by the way. This is Luke. So there's somewhat of a less use there, more like kind of Angry Bird's Ken. But Blanca, as you know, he's got the EX rolling attack, vertical, and the EX lightning. All of his EX moves offer much better attacking avenues than it does for Blanca to use Drive Rush. Most of these, you can see the Button Drive Rush is more than the Raw Drive Rush. Probably, well, equal-ish, slightly a bit more there. That's because these were combo extensions most of the time. So I think because Blanca's mobility, he doesn't need those Raw Drive Rushes. Another surprising thing with the corner game is it doesn't really look like Blanca beats you in the corner. Like, look against Takedo there. It wasn't. I didn't count the mix-ups as the corner strike, throw, or bait. You know, when Blank's throwing out the Blanca dolls, because that's really a different type of thing. So yes, the mix-ups in the corner were strong, but I think Mena with Blanca, he's beating you at the mid-range. He's bugger off messages. He's beating you in the neutral position with jumps, baits, fake balls, slides. Obviously the install, super, very, very different character. So he's using the mechanics a lot more broadly than Angry Bird, who doesn't use hardly any of the mechanics. He favours the raw drive rush, but you can see here Mena failed 2 drive impacts and got 1 against Haitani. I think that is, we can confidently say, because Haitani is playing the modern controls, he's going to be able to react better. But he did land them against Takedo and Punk, only twice per match though. Again, I think because of his high pace, you're looking for too many things. He's using all of the mechanics, and it's harder to stop. I think that is why Angry Bird did not use Drive Impact, because he is not using the mechanics. His gameplay is very, I don't want to say basic. Basic sounds disrespectful, but it's simple and effective. Interesting stat here, Mena. He landed he really favoured the drive reversal against Chun-Li. He was stopping Haitani. I think from memory, most of these were a drive rush, and he would drive reversal it. This was with Luke. Whether that's because Luke has a particularly better drive reversal, I don't think so. Or against Chun-Li, he just didn't want to be put under that pressure. It's an interesting stat. He didn't really do it much. I think he did it once, or no, he's done it twice in the grand final. This is the grand final, but we can go through all of this. Again, look at the EX moves. This is Blanca against Angry Bird in the grand final. 16 EX moves. I might have got 1 or 2 wrong, but roughly 16. And really not a lot of drive rushes. But so that's just to explain that the character and the player style can dictate your play style. There is no kind of, you should do this in the game. It depends on your situation. Onto the corner statistics. This is the most interesting part of the game for me, the most difficult part of the game for myself. I think for most players, dealing with the corner as the attacker or the defender is the difficult part of the game. You will die in here, you will be destroyed in here, you might pick right, you might be the attacker and eat a wake up level 3. This is a hectic zone, and I was interested to see how many times they would strike, throw or bait, especially since on the post, if you look, surprising statistics, this was what I found out. Despite throw loops being the online bane of Street Fighter 6, it was the least chosen option in the corner. The least. Strike and bait both occupy similar high numbers. Attacking throw was the least used corner option. Now, why would that be? Well, we got a pretty good couple of ideas, but just to run over this, if when the character wakes up is the moment that we're talking about. So when they just wake up, this is a strike. And this is obviously a throw when they just wake up. And then you've got bait as well, which is the third option. That's really your only 3 attacking options. I mean, there's more than that, but this is a bait. Now, you can do things like this. Jump to bait the throw. But I wasn't really interested in those elements. I just wanted to do the 3 master elements. Now, I did not include this as a throw, so any kind of tick button into throw was considered a strike. That's because the weakness of throw is obviously quite large. I think the reason people are not going for throws in the corner is because throws, for one, they're very low damage. 2, if you miss the throw and they forward jump, well, yeah, I mean, she's going to get DP'd, but she is out of the corner. That is the worst situation for you as a player in the corner. If you go for a throw, every player in the world is going to eat the DP to be out of the corner. another reason I think is this: if the opponent wakes up, let's do a wake up reversal on, and if we go oh, we did normal throw was in there. Yeah, if we do normal throw and put the jump off, look how far away you are thrown back. This is another big win for the corner defender. That's you basically. I would consider that a corner escape. Cammy now has enough real estate to work with here to get her ass out of there, and either force a jump or mix up a strike. Something her ass. She's not pinned in there anymore. So that's really, I think, why we find that corner throw is not a popular option. Is that it's very low damage. It does offer a loop, but you can escape that loop with one of those options at any time. And basically, through the history of Street Fighter, of any Street Fighter game, throw is always a bad option. Like 1,200 damage. It only is only a throw. It can only beat a limited amount of things. Equally, taking is probably the worst defensive option you can do in the game. Button and parry have much more reward, much more avenues of their option branch is spread out. You can if you get someone with a hit or a parry, there is more options than if a throw is limited, and that is the reason I think throw loops were not a big thing in the top 6. So moving on to strikes. Strike is the most powerful option. Why? Well, depending on who you are, you can get another combo off of it. If they just block, if we, you'll notice Angry Birds often his go-to is this. He's taking half a bar every time. Every time you wake up in the corner after something, that is, you either getting the option to combo them, hit them, keep them in the corner, or take the drive gauge. The strike is a multi-layered attack. The throw is a singular attack. It's very basic stuff here, guys. But for the beginners, I thought I would describe it. So really, you want to attack more, and the reason bait, I think, is the third. If we look at the corner bait, which is obviously once you have knocked them down, this back walk, or this doing nothing, or a slight pause, then the button, is because this is extremely likely that the opponent is going to do something. You have to be active in the corner to escape the corner. Whether that is super, whether that is an EX move, it could be drive impact, it could be button, it could be parry.
What are you waiting for?
But most of those things can be punished if you do a bait. Now with the tick throw, this one, that is still more popular than the raw throw, and the reason is quite simple, is that if they do try to jump out, they are pinned in the corner and you still get the throw attempt. Do you know what I mean? So I think that the tick throw is even ahead. Obviously they can still jump out of after you hit them with one button, but they will have to be holding up the whole time. And these are pro players, guys. These aren't your regular online dudes. So that's really the three options explained. Let's look at who did what. So as you can see here, Angry Bird likes the corner strike and the corner bait. He doesn't like the corner throw, despite playing Ken, which Ken is the throw loop guy. So yes, one of the most impressive things, I think, it's not on here, but Angry Bird didn't wake up super once in not only in the grand final, but I'm pretty sure he didn't do it at all in any of the matches. And of these EX moves in the grand final, at least, and I think in general, I can say that pretty confidently, that I think only 2 or 3 of these were reversals. So I think that's the most interesting aspect, apart from the raw drive rush and this stuff, is that he has the discipline, which must be extremely difficult in this game, with this kind of oppressive attack in the corner, in burnout, on your ass, you're going to die, to not reversal, or to not wake up super, must have taken incredible discipline. And why is he doing that? Because he figures that the damage that you gain from the high risk option is not worth the damage that you will take. He goes for the low risk medium reward, or the lower risk higher reward, like drive rush, as opposed to the high risk super reversal, because this either works or it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a finite option. So he is mitigating his risk, and that is why I think he won, or was the best player on the day. He could mitigate the risk and put his efforts into lower risk, medium reward, and never put his chips on the table. He never went all in and said, let's see what happens. Unlike Mena, who was also in the grand final. Very, very different playstyles. So at this point in the video, I will throw the sheets up and I'll talk over them. So here is Haitani versus Punk. There were 3 corner strikes attempted by Haitani and 8 by Punk. There was only 1 throw. I'm not even sure if that chicken scratch on the Haitani side is a throw, and there was no baits. So overwhelmingly in the Haitani versus Punk match, if you were in the corner, they were going to go for a strike. They were not going to go for a throw. Haitani Punk was a very interesting match. Chun versus Kami. These 2 players were the meter burners. They were on fire, if you like, with the meter. They always favoured the drive rush button, the 3-bar version, over the raw drive rush. I think I understand it from Haitani's point of view, because he's playing modern Chun, and my theory is that he's not so worried about burnout because he has the reactions due to the control system to super whatever he wants, especially even if and also being in modern, you're going to have to take advantage of the extra damage from the drive rush system. But Punk, I'm not quite sure. It could be a Kami thing again. Unfamiliar with the character. I will be familiar with her in the coming weeks, but his decision to continually go for the button drive rush with Kami in the classic system, again, excuse me if I don't know, but it did seem like these 2 players burnt the meter the most. Interesting to note that nobody really cared about being in burnout through the whole tournament. Didn't seem to be much of an issue. Let's see if we can find a round that kind of highlights not only the corner play but the meter burning. This is actually a really good sequence. This is the 2nd game, round 1. It shows you how good Punk was on the day. Gets a hit confirm. Goes for the button drive rush, which we know he does favour. I mean, it's a good combo, and Kami does have good corner carry, something the top tier characters do. Here's the strike, always the strike in the corner. But Haitani, I think he knows to push there after the jab is negative, and then he himself, he only has 3.5 bars left, and he is in the corner and still decides to button drive rush out with no super. Crazy stuff. It suggests to me these players have to know. They have to know. They are not that. It would be ignorant to say he didn't know that how much meter he had left, but they don't seem to care about the burnout state, which is interesting, because playing the game, it seems like you do have to care about the burnout state. Strike again in the corner, as we see. Who have we got here? We'll find Taquido. Sorry guys. Yep, we've got Taquido. Taquido, I'll throw his sheet up. He has corner strike. This was against, I've not noted who it was against. This was 2 different matches, but we've got corner strike. He's went for 5 times versus 1 throw. Corner strike, he's went for 8 times versus 3 throws. I didn't note the baits on the Taquido one, unfortunately. But overall, the corner game in Street Fighter V seems to be strike is your master option, followed by a bait due to the reversal options, followed by the lowly throw. It must be noted that the throw loops, the irony, you know the biggest irony of it all is, which is funny, because people that complain about the throw loops, which I'm sure everyone, I'm sure I've even done it. If we look at the final play of the final, so what I've just told you, that Angry Bird didn't go for the throws very much at all in the finals, right? And how does it end? Of course, you know what's going to happen here. Look. Perhaps this is why this worked. Throw. 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 That was a bait throw. Went for another throw. And that's the end of it. That's the moment he won the game. I just thought that was ironic. And perhaps, but you never know, maybe not doing those throws that whole time and going for baits and strikes bought him that round, bought him that game. Interesting stuff. Let's keep going. I'm just browsing this. I can't remember exactly what happened when, but I just jumped to this. I noticed it was interesting that Punk actually did all 3 of those options in one sequence. Watch this. Knockdown. Goes for the strike. Gets the counter hit. Angry Bird press the button on wake up. Active wake up. This is where he starts. This is where he cooks, honestly. This is how he beats. Goes for the throw. He blocked. This is the thing. You have to guess. Taquido got perfected twice from Mena. This is the type of game we are playing. You are going to have a round when you do not get things right. And the third one, bait. So there is the holy trinity of what I was trying to analyze. That's funny that I managed to find that random. I just clicked on the timeline there. I thought this match might be good, because both of these characters are obviously are good in the corner. Very impressive. So let's see what we'll just keep running. Actually, see what happens here. He goes for the throw, not quite in the corner. Goes for the strike, takes the drive gauge down. Has an opportunity to hit combo, pin them in the corner. Goes for, we can almost call that a tick. Goes for the strike again on the wake up. Slight bait. Oh. There's an example. We'll get to Punk in a bit, but he burnt himself out with that combo. He has to kill him now. I'm not sure what happens. Let's watch. Does he kill him? No, he doesn't. So this is the worst. Oh, he still has super meter. As we'll see later, one of the absolute worst scenario you can be in the game is no super meter burnout. Your chances of survival are minimal. No matter the life lead. No matter the life lead. Oh, he got a dive kick. So very rare for Angry Bird to throw a poke there. He wasn't active in the mid-range, Angry Bird. Not like he was a bit more against Punk. Punk's the best at stop and drive rush, by the way. I didn't log the statistics, but he is the absolute. See how he tried to stop that there and missed. Tries to stop the drive rush, Angry Bird, and misses. It's such a strong mechanic that even if Angry Bird somehow managed to punish him there, Punk would still do it again. Any of the players would do it again. Oh, that he went for a bait. Goes for the strike. Let's see if he knocks him down. We'll just review this for. How about we just review this match? Here we go. Went for the jump out. That was kind of a bait as he did. No, see what he goes for here. I don't think he gets. He has to drive rush to get the mix up here. You can actually stop this. He should be. Oh, he didn't do it. Yeah, probably because Kami has the level 3. Nice. That's one of the very few times Angry Bird actually drive impacted. Let's do this one more round. What have we got? Someone's gonna raw drive rush. Oh, he went for this.
That's a plan right there. Yep. Catch him from moving forward.
Oh, that was a punish counter. He could have took him to the corner there.
Oh my god, Punk is looking snappy. That's like the best crosscut you
Punk was very sharp on the day. Very, very sharp. Right, let's go see if we get any corner mix up. Right, here we go. What's he gonna go for? Bait. We call that a bait because he didn't quite hit him as he woke up. So that's the kind of bait strike. Very, very powerful. Kind of covers the best of both worlds. Punk could have still jumped out there probably. Oh.
Picks up a clean combo after Punk. One hit away here with his level 3. Yeah, one low forward for sure. A low.
Again, very strong the drive impact into throw, especially back throw if you're Ken, because you're throwing them towards the corner. That's a very popular one from Angry Bird. Again, like, it's so strong. Like you're talking, Punk. I'm gonna straight up say I think Punk has probably the best reactions of anyone in the game, and probably was even Street Fighter 5. Look where Ken is standing and how many times he is drive rushed, and he still gets hit. So it's an extremely difficult mechanic to stop with such high rewards. I think he's dead here possibly. No, he's not quite dead. I wonder if he'll go for the bait. Yeah. So this is why you bait. Again, we found a good one by luck. It is a very Punk didn't. I don't actually think he had to do that because he doesn't have to worry about the drive impact because he is not in burnout. I would have liked to have seen. Again, I'm not correcting Punk on what he should and should not do. I am not that good, but I guess as a suggestion, as an analysis, there something that we didn't see a lot, and I'll refer to someone's post. As at this moment here. Oh, he just ducks. I think he protected against it. Very clever by Angry Bird. I didn't know that. But what I was going to say, if Punk wakes up crouching medium butt kick button there, yes, he kind of puts himself on a burnout, but I think he can hit confirm that into the level 3, and he's out the corner. We didn't really see a lot of that in the finals at all. Angry Bird just crouches there. I think he knew that that was an option. That's very clever. Look, just a quick duck. Hitani goes, oh, this is what I was, like, I think before, I'm all mixed up about the order I did this video. I was saying no one crouching medium kicked off of 3 bars. I've just noticed Punk does it here. Bang. And that's the kill. Now, I think the match against Angry Bird is after this match, so that's interesting, isn't it? So he didn't, he did know, he did have that in his deck of cards. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So, going on to the mid-range, obviously drive rush, raw drive rush was the master strategy for almost every player. Punk was the only outlier, along with Hitani actually, who used button into rush more than raw drive rush. Now, I do think it was detrimental to his game. You'll see Punk get burned out a lot, but whether that is a character-specific thing to Kami, I do not know. Kami is actually next on my list to play. I'm actually a Lily main, and I've got Ken up to the master rank. I wanted to see how he operated. he's a stupid character. He's absolutely incredible. Very, very strong slash
What are you
OP.
waiting for?
But Cammy, I wonder if her toolkit just favours the button drive rush more. Cammy mains, chime in. What do you think? Is there a reason you're not doing that more than you're doing that? It could be that Cammy's mobility is already quite good, so perhaps the raw drive rush is not needed. But moving on, I didn't make a note of the amount of times it happened, but if you look at the post, one of the I keep missing it here. Where is it? So I think it was the one more. Okay, one more. Throw seemed to be a strong option at the mid-screen for all players, especially after a blocked drive rush. I think I know why, but we'll explore this and the corner pressure. So we've already went over the corner pressure. I think the reason that throw, especially after a drive rush at the mid-screen, is, well, it's very simple. You're always, as soon as you see those green lights and you've been hit by a button, you know that the extra plus frames are on there. And to be honest, who knows what all the calculations are? That's -1. That's -1. That's +2. That's -2. Now I'm sure other characters have probably got 3s and 4s in there. So I think what players know is that once you've been hit with a drive rush in neutral, do not push a button there. Like, this is this is a bad spot. So some people are parrying, but you have to stop this at the source. If you do not stop this at the source, you're at the mercy of that mix-up, and the easiest mix-up to take is the throw. So you take the low damage, there is no throw loop, and you're away. I think that is why throws are strong at the mid-range, as opposed to I mean, they're strong in the corner, but I'm saying a lot of people were eating throws at the mid-range. I think because you're just, if you put on a reversal button here, and you decide to, where's the reversal settings? If we put on, I don't know, light punch. Oh, that's not the block reversal, hang on. You know, if you're going to do that, it's just going to be a world of pain for you at the mid-range. You're still going to lose to the throw, but there's just so many things Ken can do. It's, yeah, so I think that's why people are taking the throws at the mid-range, is it's the lowest damage, easiest option. You've escaped, you've somewhat reset the neutral. I think that's a pretty good guess. What do you guys think? Again, I'm more than welcome for everyone to say what they think. You know, we learn together. But I think going for the throws at the mid-screen is really obvious why they're stronger. You just don't want to be counter-hit, and you know you're coming. If someone's done that, you know you're in trouble. You know, this is shit. This is a bad spot for me now.
What do you wait?
And I'm not sure if I can't remember if I mentioned it there. I was blethering so much. If you do go for the throw at the after the drive rush on block, let's pretend I don't have Cammy on the jump now. I think I actually do have the. We'll not worry about it. But if they jump out, if they jump back, so say you did a drive rush, went for the throw, and they're holding up back or up. It doesn't really matter. You still have, if you're a character like Ken, if they whiff, you still have time to DP if they jump up. And if they jump back, they've lost the screen, and there is nothing you have lost. You didn't lose the, unlike when you're in the corner, and now you are in the corner, if they are out, the mid-screen is a completely different scenario. So, yeah, that's what I think about those statistics there. So here's an example of Punk. He didn't do it all the time. In fact, I think if you're running about 50% stop and drive rush, you're already better than anyone else. It's smooth. The reason it's difficult to stop is because of the options you can put on the end. I think Kakeru, from what I've heard, was parrying a lot, and it's not a bad option because kind of covers everything. And if you whiff the parry, you can block. Whereas if you whiff if Kami whiffs the wrong button or Ken whiffs the wrong button in the drive rush and stopping to stop the drive rush, because you can't know what they're going to put on the end of the drive rush, right? Often you'll see it trade or just straight lose. But Punk in this occasion, if we see,
I feel like he's gonna do it between strings. Or EX reversal.
Wow, he left that dragon.
bang! How good was that? That's a really good spot to buffer something too. A lot of people after a throw tech will do something.
Who caught the jump back there?
Just Texas throw here and then go straight into it. Oh no, was it this one? Yeah, and then bang. How good's that? That is some reaction. So he's figured out that his crouching medium punch is maybe the high chance to stop it. How good was that bait, by the way? Look, he baits Angry Bird's own attack by walking back. So Angry Bird goes for the throw that we discussed is strong in the mid range, because at this point here, when Punk gets hit here, he is -2. Angry Bird is +2. But Punk turns his own Angry Bird's own advantage against him here. Very clever stuff. These players are at very, very, very high level. People might be saying that this is drive rush the game or whatever, but the tactics that these guys are employing is a level above. I tell you what. Oosh. How cool is that super, by the way? This is a funny part. I think Sajam actually calls it on the mic. He's saying if drive rush doesn't work, I'll drive rush again, which is completely true of this game at the minute. So Punk here, incredible reactions. He actually stops it from that close. And what does Angry Bird do? He does it again. And it works. So you can see that it's so strong that the deterrent is not strong enough to stop how powerful it is. Couple of throws there, which is rare. I think he's dead, is he? Yeah. Oh. But yes, I forgot, I was mid-sentence. What was I saying about drive rush? Yeah, a lot of people, they actually think that stopping the drive rush should have a punish counter state. This should be a punish counter state. I would agree. That's a suggestion that I think is a sensible suggestion. Because it's a shame that the game is fantastic at the minute, but the characters' buttons are so good. You have counter hits, punish counters. The mid-range has the potential to be absolutely incredible, but right now drive rush is just so strong that it kind of drowns out the incredible mid-range, at least for me. The game is still brilliant to play, still fun, incredible to watch, but I would just like to see the drive rush, a punish counter state, just a little bit of for one bar, for what it can do, is this incredible tool. Incredible. So we could be here all day, guys, and if you've kept with me this far, I appreciate you. Some people don't like this type of video. Now, I've made some chicken scratches about timestamps and some little notes next to them that I thought would be interesting to show you. So the first one is 2:52:18. I've got written "Wake Up Low" next to it. 2:52:18. So if we just go around here, I think I know what happens here. So right here, I think I know what happens here because of my note. I told you before that Wake Up Low didn't seem to be represented a lot, but in this situation I think it's extremely powerful, good option for the defender to try, because Bena has put Angry Bird into burnout in the corner, right? But he has full CA. Wouldn't even matter if that was a level 1 or level 2. He has this bar. And Angry Bird, at this point, he knows he's pretty much dead, right? So Mena decides to bait, but of course he goes for the 2000 IQ option. Wake up, crouch, and medium kick fireball. So the only reason Mena baited there was because of that big, and that's the problem with the bait. If you're going to bait high, which most people do, they walk back, shimmy. They do not bait crouch because it's just not practical. You're stopping your character from moving. But that is as a cool thing. Let's move on to the next one.
Kick, very good. Nice bait. Didn't get the punish, but I love the idea.
So I've just noticed this isn't on the.
Oh, yeah.
Is this on 1080p? Let's get this beefed up a bit.
Ready
Hang on.
every time. Standing medium kick, very good. And perfect. Ready every time. Standing medium
Why
kick,
is
very good.
that
Nice
freezing
bait.
like
Didn't get
that?
the punish, but I love the idea.
So here at 250-309, we'll see the big distance on the throw tech.
Still gets the punish counter though, so it worked out.
That is, that's a win for Angry Bird in my opinion. So Mena went for the throw, and I think he does it again. Tries to get out the corner,
Jab check on land.
goes for the throw in the corner. Not quite the same wake-up situation, but if he had buttoned there, Angry Bird would have got hit, and now he's out. And now he is in the corner. So again, a small example. Bait, went for the bait there. Oh, Luke's got that option's very good. Let's just play this one, see what happens. Let's see what he does. Oh, is he dead? Yeah, he's dead, I think. Yeah. Ken, oh, I tell you what, Ken is so strong. People complaining about JP. Ken is don't know less powerful than JP. He's even more powerful than JP. Such a strong character. So I think here we see the power of the parry on wake up in the corner, which is an option chosen a lot. Right at this moment here, bang. And the best option here is to back throw the opponent into the corner, not to go for a punish, you see, because your combo is already scaled again. I'm telling you things that you probably already know, but for the beginners out there, you cannot get anything worthwhile from a parry, so a perfect parry. So it's all about positioning. So you want to back throw them there. Interesting to note here that as well, I talked about throw being the worst defensive option. Throws here. Decides to throw, and Mena does the neutral jump, and look how much damage he takes. That's incredible. That's nearly a half of his life bar because he decided to go for a defensive throw tech. If he had blocked, button, jumped, either of those would have worked. But I mean, difficult. He can't not throw tech, right? You have to sometimes. Another snippet. This is a funny section. I'll flip on Takedo after this just to show you the difference between Takedo's Ken and AB's Ken. Very, very different styles. But look how many people would have thrown a fireball here. Look how long it goes with no fireball. And none of them are doing anything because both of them want to drive rush in. You imagine you just switched on right now, you'd be like, what is this game? One thing I did think about, and I don't think so, but it's interesting to note that Mena had won that first game, right? And something got me wondering, is Angry Bird leading Mena back to the corner so he can now do what he does? Or is this just an element that just unfolds the way it does? But he did this a few times where he would move. Traditionally in fighting games, you don't want to keep moving back, especially without doing anything, without getting some chip or fireballs. The reason, by the way, Angry Bird doesn't favour fireballs is they're pretty much useless in this game. They will get parried. It's a high risk option, low damage. Not worth it, really. As an occasional poke, perhaps, especially for Ken. But yeah, going back to my point, did he lead him back to this corner like that deliberately so he could do this? Because now Mena's in the corner. Angry Bird didn't do anything for 20 seconds. He's kind of doing the same thing there. You know, I think he's just trying to, more than likely, he's trying to slow the pace of the game down. Sports teams do that. If anybody's noticed the sports tactics, if you're into that, when an opponent or a team is very attacking, high paced, the defender wants to slow the game, the match down as much as possible, and take that away, because this character, this team, are momentum based. There could have been an element of that involved in it as well. What do you guys think? So here is Takedo. We'll finish up soon and maybe review that final. There's just stats everywhere. I didn't structure this video in any way, guys, but I hope you've enjoyed it. But we'll look at Takedo's. Look how different he is. Right away. What's happening? He's throwing fireballs at Mena. Very different technique from Angry Bird. Even the way that Takedo approaches the mid-range with Ken, he's a bit more pokey. You know, Mena was kind of quiet in here, but Takedo likes to poke and prod. Another fireball. Oh, I will say something about the jabs, actually, just after this, just to close off. There you go, there's parry again. Wrong punish, might have been too far away. So again, let's just look. This is just a random round. See, fireballs. At this point in the game, Angry Bird would have thrown 0 fireballs. Takedo is a bit more jumpy too, Takedo. Again, Angry Bird did no wake-up supers in the entire Grand Finals. Throw tech getting you in trouble in the corner. So basically, if we're to sum up Angry Bird's style, he's very high reward, low risk. He doesn't favour things like drive impact. He doesn't favour things like wake-up DPs. Takedo was a bit more of a mixed bag. I mean, Takedo is still absolutely one of the best players in Street Fighter 6 at the minute to make top 4. I mean, he could have won here too. He was very close. You see the way even Takedo is using the crouch and medium kick. Angry Bird wasn't really doing that. He wasn't poking and prodding like that. Obviously, he's buffering the rush behind it like that. But Angry Bird, he definitely favoured the raw much more powerful, cheaper. Again, Takedo, look at how different his corner approach is to Angry Bird's. Very different players. I suggest if you're a Ken player, you analyse both players and pick a type. There's no right or wrong. I mean Angry Bird won EVO, but he's Takedo again. There's a reason. You know, fireball, not even that far away. Reaction slide. These players are too good. I think Angry Bird realised that the fireball, for what it is just not worth throwing at all. So interesting stuff.